Horror Story 1, 2, 1, 2. 1212 is a scary story about a high school girl who studies at night in the library of her boarding school. All over the world, success in school is very important for young people. Parents put a lot of pressure on their children to get good grades. Students often have to go back to the school library for extra reading in the evenings as well. This has actually become a big problem as many students stay up late at night to study and then go to class the next day. They fall asleep. Of course, in recent years, in some countries, students have been banned from studying after 10 p.m. One night, a girl named Sun Hee was studying in the school library until late with a group of her classmates. The library lights were on, but the rest of the school was in darkness. After a while, she got up to go to the bathroom, so she told her friends that she would be back in a moment. The girl left the library and walked down the dark corridor to the school bathroom. A few minutes passed. The students inside the library noticed a faint knocking sound, as if it was coming from the window. Looking around, they saw a pale and thin woman standing outside. His face was stuck to the window and his eyes were closed. He tapped on the window with a long and crooked finger. The students looked at each other, wondering what a woman is doing outside at this time of night. A moment later, the woman opened her eyes and the students gasped in horror. She had no eyes, only deep, dark holes were visible. The woman raised her fist and slammed it into the glass, shattering the glass. Suddenly, all the lights went out. Unaware of what happened in the library, Sun Hee wanted to wash her hands when she fell into the dark. The distance to the restroom was so far that she never heard the screams of panic coming from the library. And he didn't know about the massacre that happened just a few meters away. He continued to wash his hands in the dark, oblivious to the horrified screams echoing down the hall. As it had started suddenly, the screams gradually stopped, and the school fell into deathly silence again. Sun Hee walked back down the corridor, and when she got near the library, she stopped in her tracks, a sense of dread that she had never felt before. She saw the corpses of other students scattered around the library. Some bodies were spread out on the floor, while others were stretched out on tables and cupboards. He began to shake in fear. He could feel his heart racing as he tried to figure out what had happened. How fast? Just at that moment, she heard footsteps in the corridor. Soon Hee was a smart girl. She quickly threw herself on the ground, next to the dead bodies of her friends, and lay motionless. He heard something slowly enter the library. Sun Hee closed her eyes and pretended to be dead. She heard a hissing sound as something moved in the room. Out of fear, Sun Hee lay as still as she could and tried not to make a sound. He heard a voice whisper, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Curiosity got the better of him, and he cautiously opened his eyes, ever so slightly, and half. He took a look. There, in the middle of the room, stood a pale, ghostly woman dressed in white. Sun Hee closed her eyes again and fought the urge to scream. She could hear the ghost moving around the room, moving from one body to another, muttering, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. The girl had her eyes tightly shut. He hoped and prayed that the ghost would leave soon. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. The ghostly woman moved from corpse to corpse, and it was getting closer and closer. The ghost was almost beside her. The girl tried not to breathe. Suddenly, the counting stopped. The library was suspiciously quiet. After a few minutes of complete silence, Sun Hee was sure the ghost was gone. Sun Hee slowly opened her eyes. The spirit was leaning directly over her and staring into her eyes. Sun Hee saw that the woman's hands were full of her classmates' eyes. A pale and bony finger pointed directly at Sun Hee's face. The woman said, 1, 2, while also removing Sun Hee's eyeball.